Welcome to Spectral Shadows. This is the place where the stories don't just haunt your mind, they follow you into the dark. Before the whispers begin, tell me, where are you watching from and what time is it? Midnight? Or closer to the hour when shadows move on their own? If you're brave enough to continue, prove it. Like this video, subscribe to Spectral Shadows and leave a comment with your time and location, so we'll know exactly where to find you. Now, let's open the door to tonight's nightmare. Story number 1. Dolly Doe is the moniker given to an unidentified juvenile homicide victim whose remains were discovered under a highway overpass in an undisclosed United States city in 1979. The crime provides the inspiration of a particularly gruesome urban legend that originally arose in the area in the 1980s. The details of the story are as follows. The decapitated revenant of a dead girl holding a baby doll appears under the overpass every full moon at midnight. She is headless and covered in blood. All of her limbs are broken, giving her movements a weird, floppy appearance. If you are unlucky enough to find yourself under that specific overpass on midnight at a full moon, the dead girl will kill you. It does not matter who you are. Partiers, drunk teenagers, urban explorers, vagrants, and the occasional unlucky midnight wanderer are all fair game. Once the dead girl spots you, she hobbles, runs, or crawls. Exact details depend on who tells the story. At you on these broken limbs. When she catches you, she tears your head off. In some versions of the tale, the doll is an animate hunter who helps the dead girl kill victims. In others, it issues shrill warnings to prospective victims right before the revenant strikes. Although entirely implausible, the details about the doll certainly make for a terrifying mental image and likely contribute to the legend's endurance. In 1987, the legend enjoyed a resurgence following the death of a local child named Victor. Victor lived near the overpass and was known to express great interest in the legend of Dolly Doe. Shortly after bragging that he knew the truth about Dolly, he was struck by a bizarre wasting disease that mimicked the symptoms of advanced dementia. Due to Victor's well-known interest in the urban legend, his illness was thereafter referred to as Dolly's curse. Paradoxically, if not surprisingly, Victor's tragic fate led a steady trickle of eager visitors, most of whom were children and teenagers, to the underpass, in the hopes of glimpsing Dolly Doe for themselves. Over the next 5 years, over a dozen children were struck by the same wasting disease that took Victor's life. Had the agency not apprehended the entity, the death toll would undoubtedly be much higher. Personnel took her into custody without incident in March 1992. She introduced herself as Dolly. Beyond that, she has communicated very little since her incarceration began. Despite the entity's overall lack of cooperation, the organization was able to gather sufficient information to understand what had happened to Victor. In brief, through an as-yet unknown mechanism that the agency cannot replicate or study for ethical reasons, Dolly Doe attempted to possess Victor, and to an extent, she succeeded. However, the boy's neural pathways proved fundamentally incompatible with her consciousness. So to all outward appearances, Victor lost his mind. Dolly refused to vacate his body, although it must be noted that the extent of the damage was most likely so significant so quickly that leaving most likely would not have saved Victor's life. Within 6 days, scans showed that physical degeneration on a level usually seen in advanced dementia patients was present in Victor's brain. followed by lesions that rapidly metastasized into tumors. Despite this, Dolly persisted in her possession and attempted control of Victor's body. Her efforts ended abruptly when Victor died 22 days after she first possessed him. Most unfortunately, Victor was not Dolly's last victim. As previously mentioned, Victor's death gave the urban legend of Dolly Doe new prominence, leading thrill seekers and daredevils to hunt for her under the overpass. Most of these individuals were unable to perceive her. Those who could generally ran away at the sight of her. But every once in a while, one of these children was brave enough, or lonely enough, to confront and forge a bond with her. Invariably, this bond ended with Dolly attempting to steal their bodies, just as she stole Victor's, with similarly dire results. All in all, Dolly had 14 victims. Some agency personnel wished to classify her as a serial killer for this reason. Following her evaluation, recorded below, with the agency's specialized interviewer, however, personnel now believe this is a highly inaccurate conclusion. Dolly is not malicious. She is not a killer. She feels no compulsion to end lives. Her intention was never to harm. Malicious or not, however, she is critically dangerous, and it is fair to characterize her as a slow-burn mass casualty event. Despite extensive effort on the part of the agency, details of Dolly Doe's identity, life, and death remain unknown. Even she is unaware of these details. In fact, Dolly does not even recall her own name. In the opinion of medical staff, the combination of Dolly D's obviously abusive childhood and the severe trauma surrounding her death resulted in selective amnesia that persists, even in her chthonic state. Please note that following the highly destructive behavior she exhibited during the last attempt to help her recall a seemingly innocuous detail about her childhood, there are to be no attempts at memory recall for this inmate at this time. The truly minute amount of information that Dolly Doe shared with staff prior to her interview relate to her extraordinarily lonely existence post-mortem. This information consists of the repetitive expression of a wish for a loving family and approximately a dozen distinct memories over the years she spent alone after her death. Each memory concerns one of Dolly's desperate attempts to forge connections with anyone who came across the place where her murderer concealed her body. Dolly states that she tried and failed to befriend children, teenagers, and various adults over the years. Most of these individuals never even registered her presence. Those that did fled in abject terror. While clearly painful for Dolly, this reaction is understandable. As is often the case with chthonic entities, Dolly Doe's appearance reflects the condition of her body post-mortem. Similarly to the baby girl entity, the sight is exceedingly disturbing due to the extent of the injuries inflicted upon her. In a somewhat interesting footnote, Dolly remained under the radar for as long as she did, because her interference was attributed to a known cancer cluster in the area. This has prompted personnel to review other such clusters for agency-appropriate phenomena. It should be noted that the interviewer has suggested that staff facilitate introduction of Dolly Doe to the Bye-Bye Mommy. This request has been submitted to administration by Dr. Wingeride. Interview subject, Dolly Doe. Classification string, non-cooperative indestructible, chthonic constant moderate daemon. Interviewer, Rachele B. Interview, date, November 26th, 2024. I have dreamed about my mom for as long as I can remember. I do not ever see her face, I think because I have not met her yet. I know, I already have a mother, or else I would not exist. But I am not talking about my mother. I do not care about finding my mother. I care about finding my mom. That is why I tried to make so many friends. I wanted to find someone to be my best friend, somebody who would love me like I was their sister, and bring me home to their family to get adopted. That happens sometimes, right? Sometimes parents see kids in orphanages and bring them home. I wish I could have gone to an orphanage. I could not, though, because I was stuck in the dark with my doll. No one could see me there. That is why I had to make friends, because it was the only way anyone would ever see me. No one wanted to be my friend, though. Not ever. Every single time I tried, they just ignored me. Well, I guess there were a few who did not ignore me, but they were even worse because they just screamed at me. They were scared of me. I do not know why. I was really nice. That is how you make friends, by being nice. I was so nice I even tried to share my doll, but they were just scared of her too. I do not really remember how many friends I tried to make. At least 100, probably more like 1,000, maybe even 2,000. It did not matter though. They all either ignored me or ran away screaming. I would just sit in the dark where I could still smell my blood and cry. Sometimes I cried for days. That is because I do not know how to sleep anymore. I think I used to sleep when I was sad, but now all I do is cry. I almost gave up on friends and everything else. I was ready to lay down with my doll where I could smell my blood and see my clothes. Which is weird, because I am wearing them. How can my clothes be on me and in the ground at the same time? And cry for as long as I had to. That is what I was doing when Victor came. Laying down and crying. He was crying too. I could see why. He was walking funny and bleeding. Before I got stuck in the dark, I was walking funny and bleeding too. I thought maybe he was about to be stuck with me. That would have been fun. Not as fun as having parents, but at least he would have been my brother. Victor was not about to be stuck with me, though. I knew that as soon as I got a close look at him. He was not walking as weird or bleeding as bad as I had been. It was still pretty bad, though. He had blood on his face, and he was holding twisted-up glasses without the glass. Later, after I showed him my doll, and after he stopped crying, he told me he was legally blind without his glasses. That is what he said. Legally blind. He always said so, and he was totally right. I bet that is the only reason he did not run away from me, too, because he could not even see what I looked like. But I did not know that I looked scary back then. I did not know that until the doctor here told me. That is so embarrassing, it makes me feel like crying. I really thought I looked normal back then, or I would have been more careful. Anyway, when Victor came and did not ignore me or run away from me, I just thought that I finally met a really nice kid, someone who would actually want to be my friend. Victor was not actually super nice at first, though, but that is my fault. Even though he could not see me, I accidentally scared him when I said hello, not because I sounded scary, just because he was running from bullies. That is what he said. He was running from bullies, and the bullies were why he was bleeding and walking weird. And when he heard me, he thought the bullies had found him. That is why he was there in the underpass, because he was hiding from the bullies. I lied. I know it is bad to lie, but I did it anyway, and I am really sorry that I was hiding from bullies too. Even though it was bad, the lie made Victor stay. That was good, I think. At least I thought so. Victor stayed under the overpass with me all day. We got to be friends really fast. We talked about so many things. He was sometimes kind of rude, like he told me I was way too old for my doll, but mostly he was just really nice. I was so glad he was there. It was the first time anyone saw me and did not run. When it was time for him to go home, he asked where I lived so he could come over and we could play together. I live here, I said, right over there by the old clothes. Are you homeless? He sounded so worried. I do not remember anyone ever worrying about me. It made me smile. I do not know. I guess so. Victor was even more worried about me after that. He promised to come back tomorrow with a sleeping bag for me, plus snacks. He was so excited about bringing the snacks for me that I did not even tell him that I do not know how to eat anymore. After he left, I stayed up all night. I had to because I do not remember how to sleep. But I did not cry at all. I just hopped around because I was so happy. Victor came back just like he promised. He had his backpack on and a flashlight. His glasses were on, too. He looked different with them. I was so excited. I danced out. For real. I was so happy I danced like a little kid and tried to hug him. Only when he saw me, he screamed. That made me cry. I do not know how he got over it. I am just really glad he did. Even after he got over it, I think he still did not like being too close to me. And he would not ever look at me unless he turned his flashlight off first. Like, he made sure he was turned all the way around from me if there was any chance he would actually see me in full light. But that is okay, because I kind of remember from a really long time ago, back when I still knew how to eat and had to sleep sometimes, that there had been something that was too scary for me to look at, too. So it did not make me mad. Besides, how could I even be mad at Victor? He still wanted to be my friend, almost as much as I wanted to be his. He was not mad at me, either. Not for anything. He got a little bit freaked out when I tried to hand him my doll again to apologize, but mostly, he just thought everything was interesting. That is what he said. It is actually really interesting to know the real story behind the town's urban legend. That is you, Dolly. You are the scary story. Only you are too cool to actually be scary. That is one of the nicest things anyone ever said to me. I think of all the nice things anyone has ever said. Victor said like 99.9% of them. But sometimes Victor made me mad, too, even when he was being nice. One of the things that always made me really mad was when he tried to make me remember. I do not want to remember anything about when I still had to sleep and remembered how to eat. I really do not, okay? And I told him that, but he did not ever listen. He only ever said that the only way I was going to move into the light was if I remembered what happened to me. But there was no light. That is what Victor did not get. There is no light. There is only the dark, where I used to sit and cry, and the deeper, scarier dark behind it. When I told him that, he still kept arguing. He said even if I did not want to go into the light, I had to remember my killer. As long as I remembered my killer, Victor promised to find him and make sure he went to jail. But I do not know. I do not want to think about that. People only go to jail after witnesses go on the stand. I did not want to go on the stand. I could not. I cannot, because I do not remember, and I do not want to. I got so sick of it that I finally made Victor talk about his life. I was really interested in that. Way more interested than remembering about the times when I still knew how to eat. And for real, I thought Victor's life sounded wonderful. He did not think so, though. He said his life sucked. That is exactly what he said. My life sucks, Dolly. You do not even know, okay? He said his life sucked because he was poor, and there was never enough food for both him and his mom to eat dinner. It made him feel guilty and mad whenever he ate, and she did not. I wish she would just eat sometimes, even if it is just half my dinner, or like every other dinner, but she will not, and it makes me feel like such a jerk. There were other reasons Victor's life sucked, too. He said he was bad in school because he had dyslexia, and his teachers always told him he would have no future unless he got better at reading. Is not that mean? I think that is so mean. He also said the bullies sometimes made him wish he could die. He said it got so bad sometimes that he even thought about doing it himself. That made me really sad and angry, but also kind of excited. If Victor did it to himself, then he could come be under the overpass with me. But I did not like thinking those things. It felt so mean. I am not mean. Really, I am not. Victor also said had no friends, and no brothers or sisters. No one cared about him but his mom, and she barely counted because she yelled at him and made him feel bad when she would not eat dinner, and worked so much he almost never saw her anyway. I felt bad for him. Really. It sounded really sad, but, and I know this is really selfish to say, I did not feel as sad for him as I did for me. That is because even with all his problems, and he totally had a lot of problems, I get that, Victor still had a mom, and his mom was not perfect. I know he did not like that she yelled and worked a lot. But, and again, I know this is really mean, it is not like Victor was perfect either. I mean, no one is perfect, and that is okay. We do not have to be perfect. We just have to love each other. And I could tell Victor's mom loved him so much. That is why she worked so much, and why she always made him eat dinner, because she loved him more than anything. Sometimes I think Victor did not love his mom at all. Not like I would love my mom, for sure. He said such mean things about her. But only sometimes. I do not know, it was so weird. It made my head hurt listening to him. On one hand, he would say he loved her, and he knew she was trying really hard, and was giving him everything she had. On the other, he was so mean to her for working so much, and for not helping him with school. Most of all, he was mad at her for letting his dad leave. This was super confusing because Victor did not even like his dad. Like, not at all. He said so all the time. But he was still so angry at his mom for letting him leave. Finally, I just got so sick of it. One time when he was in the middle of complaining, which he did so often that I had it all memorized already, I interrupted him. I know it is mean, but I just could not help it. I said, "Victor, shut up. None of that matters, okay? It is all really stupid and does not matter, because you have a mom, and a really good one, too. So just shut up already." I know it was mean, but sometimes I just get really mean when I am mad, and it worked. Victor did not complain anymore for the whole day, and even for the day after, but he started again pretty soon after that, and I got really mad at him. I guess I even started to resent him. I mean, there he was, complaining all the time, and looking down on what he had, when what he had was everything I have ever dreamed of. And the more Victor complained about his mom, the more I dreamed. I guess I started acting different. At least that is what Victor said. He even started visiting me less. He did not stop or anything. We were too good of friends for him to just stop. But he did not come every day anymore. I was alone a lot. When I was alone, I used to hold my doll and cry in the dark, but not anymore. Instead of crying, I was dreaming. Even though I do not know how to sleep anymore, I was dreaming. And in my new dreams, I was not me anymore. I was Victor. I was Victor in his little apartment eating dinner with his mom. But even though I was Victor, I was better. I know that sounds so mean, but it was just dreams, so it does not count. In the dreams, I was a better kid than Victor. I was nicer, and more grateful, and funnier, and most of all, I loved my mom, his mom, more than he ever did. It was just dreams, though. I promise. The more I dreamed, the meaner Victor got about his mom. At least it seemed that way. And eventually he just would not stop. All he did every time he came to visit was complain about her. That was mean, no matter what, even when I told him to shut up again. And finally I just got really mad. Madder than I think I have ever been. When I get really mad, I get mean. I do not want to talk about how mean I got. I do not want to remember it, but I do. I guess I am stuck remembering. Pretty much what I did was just stand there, staring at Victor while he complained about his mom. While I was standing there, I started thinking about my dreams, the ones where I was Victor, but better. A Victor who was good and nice, and did not complain about dinner or work, and loved his mom the way she loved him. And then the dream turned real. I was Victor. Victor was still Victor too, though. It was so weird. I did not like how it felt. I tried to turn the dream into a dream again, but it did not work. When it did not work, I thought maybe it was for the best. That is exactly what I thought. Maybe it is for the best. Maybe Victor and I can be a kid together. Would not that be cool? It is like being brother and sister, only better. So I told Victor that is what we were going to do. It made him scream. He screamed out of my mouth. It was so creepy. I screamed back, though. I screamed back way louder than him. That scared him so much that he took us home when I told him to. Victor acted so weird when we got home. He would not stop screaming, and he kept trying to keep me from walking around. It was really hard to fight him. I do not really know how to fight, you know. He punched our face and pinched our arms, and even tried to stab us. It was so crazy. I could not keep him from doing all of it, but I did keep him from stabbing us at least. That was a relief. Knives scare me so bad. I kept waiting for his mom to get home. I knew she would make him behave. Once he was behaving and we stopped fighting, then we could all talk about being a family. I could not wait, but I had to wait a long time, actually, because it took forever for his mom to get home. Like literally forever. I thought she would be so happy to see us. Moms are supposed to be happy to see their kids, but when she got home and saw us, she screamed. I think that was my fault. Victor kept trying to crawl away from me, which is stupid because we were the same person now. I kept making him stop. I guess that looked pretty creepy from the outside. That is probably why she screamed. Victor kept trying to make me get out. It hurt my feelings so bad that I tried to leave, but I could not. No matter how hard I tried, I was stuck in there with him. We were fused. It was wild, but it was so cool. If he had just calmed down and behaved and been a good friend, it would have been so cool. We would have been a family. Instead, he just kept trying to make me get out. He started off really strong. It was hard to fight him, but he did not stay strong for long. He actually got really weak really fast. That scared me. I did not want Victor to get weak or hurt. I just wanted him to be my brother, but he did not want me to be his sister. His mom took us to the hospital, finally. It was really weird. The doctors said crazy stuff, like our brain was shrinking. We had the brain of a dementia patient, I think is what they said. We had a brain like someone with advanced dementia. The day after that, the doctor said we had advanced dementia and lesions. I think like a week after that, they said we had advanced dementia and lesions and tumors. Even after he got weak, Victor fought for a long time. I did not get it. I did not get it, okay? I did not want to fight. I just wanted to share. That is all. I just wanted to be part of a family. And he knew because we were the same person, but he fought me anyway. He tried to make me get out, even though all I ever tried to do was let him in. I know he was scared, but it was just so mean. I think after maybe 3 weeks, Victor was not there in his body with me anymore. It was just me. Even though it is super mean, I was excited. I was all alone in there. It was mine. That meant I had a mom now, all to myself. Only I could not move my body. I guess because of the brain tumors. They can do that, you know. Make it so you cannot even move. It is okay that I do not remember how to eat. It is even okay that I do not remember how to sleep. But it was not okay to not remember how to move. That is when I left. I got out of Victor and went back to the underpass. It was so sad, though. I thought I would be alone. I thought I would have to cry in the dark with my doll forever. But it was not forever. It was maybe a week, tops. Then the others started to come. There were a lot more than I had ever seen, and they were all kids. That never happened before. It was all kids. Kids with parents, kids with families, kids who, unlike Victor, would know how to share. I tried to share with all of them. I shared my doll first, so they would know sharing was all I wanted to do. No taking, just sharing. Only none of them wanted to share. Not the ones who ignored me, and definitely not the ones who screamed and ran away when they saw me. Not even the ones who tried to be my friend. That made me feel really sad, because friends are supposed to share. Friends are supposed to be like family. That is all I wanted. To be like family. All I want is a family. I want a mom. I do not even need my own. I will share. All I ever did was try to share. But no one wants to share with me. No one at all. I think it is because I look so scary. Can you help me look less scary? If you are not up to speed on the non-interview events, the below info might not make sense to you. Apologies, if so, for reasons that have not been explained to me. I was asked to conduct Dolly's interview roughly 2 hours after the disaster with Christophe. Shortly after I finished with Dolly, so shortly I was still sobbing, Charlie escorted me to the Commander S office. The second I walked in, I froze. You came. Maybe you are man enough after all, Christophe taunted. I took a seat across from him. When is the last time you killed someone? Define someone. Someone who is not an inmate or a field target. Why? Do you think you are someone I want to kill? The possibility has crossed my mind. They let me do whatever I want here, and they do not punish me for anything. If I wanted to kill you, you would be dead, and no one would do anything about it. I feel like you tried pretty hard to kill me earlier. I did not try to kill you. I tried to beat up a narc. I had no choice. Snitches get stitches. It is the rules. I do not make the rules. I only follow them. I am sorry, I have to follow the rules. How long? I repeated. He sighed. A long time ago, before I caught the performer. The Harlequin? No, the other one. The freak, Mr. Helping Hands. Curiosity overpowered revulsion, and I leaned forward. Christophe leaned back, smirking. We can talk later, but only if you are brave enough to come to me all alone. Guys, Dr. Wingeride scolded, this is supposed to be a productive mediation session. I understand emotions are running high, but right now we need to really focus on our team goals. I actually spluttered. What the hell kind of corporate bullsh? Stop, the commander cut in. The two of you need to get along starting immediately and lasting for the foreseeable future. Unlike Charlie, the commander is not the kind of person you talk over, so I did not argue. We have recalled all field agents and their Thiesi partners to the Pantheon because we have reason to believe one of them is colluding with the Harlequin, most likely to orchestrate a breakout. The two of you and Charlie are the only three that I know are not involved. Your goal is to discover who is. I had difficulty processing this, but not too much difficulty to ask, okay, but how do you know I am not involved? Because you asked that question. Christophe turned his attention to the commander. I know what she will be doing, but how will I help? Am I to stop the others from giving her stitches? It is more involved than that. I like that. The more involved we are, the more fun we will have. I could not ignore the creepy-crawly sensation he elicited, but I managed to glare at him as if I had. Well, the only person I know of who has freed an inmate is sitting right there across from me, so I only did that because you asked. He simpered. That was a routine security and accountability exercise, the commander said, giving Charlie an annoyed look, one that the primary subject failed. The inmate has been tracked. Her whereabouts are known. He turned that annoyed look onto Christophe. and she is currently pending recovery. I have been busy, about to get even busier, it sounds like. At least we will be getting busy together. So just to clarify, I said loudly, you have recalled all your field staff because you think one is a double agent for the most dangerous entity known to your organization, and you plan to catch this person and beat this entity by forcing your most inexperienced employee to play a game of real-life Clue with a pack of highly trained operatives and their superpowered monster partners who are mandated to protect them under threat of death. How did you even find out about this? Pantomime, Christoph said, referencing an inmate I know of but have not met. As I told our commander, Pantomime has never done anything without the Harlequin's direction. This is a trap. I have reason to believe it is not, the commander said. In any case, he looked at me, will be evaluating that inmate tomorrow, so we will have a better idea either way. Charlie said, I know it sounds overwhelming, but we really do have full confidence in you. What he means is, they do not have a choice, Christoph said. What? Cannot Christoph, sniff them out? I mean, he can apparently tell when I am about to throw up or cry or lie or whatever, so why? Because that is not how it works. If you want to know how it does work, I will show you whenever you like. All you have to do is... Christoph, we have discussed this at length. Charlie cut in. Stop. When are the others coming? I asked. The other agents? Some are already here, said the commander. A headache was pulsing in my temples. When do I start interviewing them? After the completion of our upcoming recovery effort, which brings me to the next topic of discussion, the pretext for the recall. Christoph has located the Harlequin. Recall of all field staff to facilitate a joint recovery effort is standard protocol for an egregore class target. You will be participating on site in the recovery effort because we want to see how you operate in uncontrolled conditions. Consider it field training. The headache was making me feel nauseous. So you are my field training officer? No, I have no time for, and even less interest in training T-class inmates. For all intents and purposes, Christoph is your field training officer. And after that, I will be interviewing all these people. The ones who survive, Christoph said. Christoph, Charlie exploded. That really is not productive. I will do everything I can to make sure you are one of them. Christoph told me. You have my word. That is as productive as I can be without lying. Do you want me to lie? Of course not. Then we have been productive. Good night. He left. Charlie looked at me sympathetically. I know that experiencing harassment is stressful, but this will not last forever. Once you are in the field, and he has authority over you in an official capacity, he will be good. He is a great trainer. It is a very comfortable mental space for him, and he excels when he is comfortable. The problem is he is not comfortable with you, and he is kind of just subconsciously punishing you for it. Oh, is that all? Somehow Charlie did not catch my sarcasm. Yep. Wait, before you go, take these. With that, he dumped a stack of records pertaining to all the incoming agents and walked me back to my room. I have been looking through these files all day. I do not have the energy to go into it, other than to say I have my work cut out for me in a big way. And if the commander is wrong, if the person he is trying to flush out figures out I am the flusher, I am most definitely super-duper dead. You've reached the end. But the shadows haven't left you. If this story unsettled you, prove you survived. Like this video, subscribe to Spectral Shadows, and leave a comment with the part that haunted you most. The darkness is always waiting, and so are we. Until next time, don't turn off the lights.